I walked through the deserted streets of Sapele Road, my footsteps echoing ominously in the darkness. It was well past midnight, and I was regretting my decision to attend that ill-fated party. The once lively atmosphere had turned sour when an unsettling feeling crept upon us, and we all started to sense that something was terribly wrong. The host, Jake, dismissed our concerns, attributing them to an overactive imagination fueled by ghost stories shared earlier that night. As the clock struck midnight, I decided to leave the eerie gathering and head home. The night air felt heavy, laden with an inexplicable dread that made me shiver despite the warm summer breeze. My heart pounded in my chest, and I quickened my pace, hoping to escape the lingering unease that had enveloped the party. The streets were unnervingly quiet, and the flickering streetlights cast eerie shadows on the pavement. My footsteps echoed loudly in the stillness, and I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. I glanced around, half expecting to see someone or something lurking in the shadows, but the street remained deserted. As I turned the corner, I saw a figure in the distance. It was a woman, dressed in a long, tattered gown, her face obscured by the veil of darkness. My heart skipped a beat, and I tried to convince myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. But the figure seemed to glide toward me without making a sound. I quickened my pace again, my footsteps now echoing like a racing heartbeat. Fear clawed at my chest as the woman approached, her ethereal presence sending chills down my spine. I summoned the courage to speak, asking if she was okay, but she remained silent, her eyes penetrating into my soul. Before I could escape her eerie gaze, she vanished into thin air, leaving me standing alone in the empty street. My breath hitched in my throat, and I stumbled back, struggling to comprehend what had just happened. Was she a ghost? Or was my mind playing cruel tricks on me? Desperate to get away, I ran as fast as my trembling legs could carry me. The streetlights seemed to flicker and dim, plunging the surroundings into near darkness. Panic consumed me, and I prayed for the safety of my home. But my nightmare had only just begun. As I approached a bus park, I heard faint whispers in the wind. Strange voices seemed to call my name, echoing through the trees. I stopped dead in my tracks, my heart pounding wildly in my chest. Every nerve in my body screamed at me to run, but fear rooted me to the spot. Then, the playground swings began to move on their own, swaying back and forth in an eerie rhythm. A cold gust of wind rustled the leaves, forming twisted patterns that resembled ghostly faces. The park had transformed into a nightmarish tableau. I turned and fled, taking random turns through the labyrinth of darkened streets, trying to escape the relentless grip of fear. Each corner I turned seemed to lead me deeper into an otherworldly realm. Shadows danced and flickered, taunting me with their ominous shapes. My phone buzzed in my pocket, and I fumbled to answer it. It was a text from Jake, the host of the party. The message read, "Don't look back, they're watching." Tears welled in my eyes as I clutched the phone. What did he mean? Who were they, and why were they watching me? Ignoring the message, I kept running, desperate to escape whatever malevolent force was haunting me. But no matter where I went, I couldn't shake the feeling of being pursued. Finally, I reached the safety of my home. The lights seemed brighter, and the air felt warmer inside. I locked all the doors and windows, trying to shut out the horrors of the night. As I collapsed onto my bed, my mind replayed the events of the night, trying to make sense of the inexplicable. But no answers came, only more questions. What had happened at that party, and what malevolent force had followed me home? In the days that followed, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, even in the safety of my home. Shadows seemed to move on their own, and whispers echoed through the walls. I feared that whatever had haunted me that night had now become a permanent part of my life. I became a prisoner of my own fear, afraid to leave my house, afraid to close my eyes. Every night, I relived the horror of that midnight walk, wondering if I would ever escape the malevolent force that had taken hold of me. The night had changed me forever, leaving me haunted by a darkness that I couldn't escape. I had unwittingly unlocked a door to a realm beyond our understanding, and now there was no turning back. So, dear reader, Beware of the dangers that lurk in the shadows. Sometimes the scariest stories are the ones that happen to us, and the horrors of that fateful night will forever haunt me, lurking in the depths of the creepy cupboard of my mind.